In the world we live in right now, you'd be forgiven for thinking you can make a statement without getting trolled or opposed heavily by someone who doesn't agree with you. After all, freedom of opinion is something that many people take pride in, sometimes to a fault. But in the rap game, you don't simply have to worry about people hating on you in reply to something you do. You have to worry about them making a diss track against you to prove how wrong you were, how much of a punk you are, and so on. For Jack Harlow, he likely thought he did nothing wrong via a certain track, and yet Machine Gun Kelly says otherwise. We'll break it down for you, but first, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload from us. Do you want the chance to win a brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max, MacBook Pro, or a $500 Amazon gift card? Find the hidden message that's in the video, comment it down below, and subscribe to the channel for a chance to win one of these amazing prizes. Don't forget to hit the like button, and good luck. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. The track by Jack Harlow. Let's start at the catalyst for this incident and go from there. Nearly a year after dropping his sophomore album, Come Home the Kids Miss You, Jack Harlow returned recently with his latest full-length offering, Jackman. The second song on the 10-track project, They Don't Love It, sees Harlow boast about his status as the best white rapper since Eminem. Your boy's striving to be the most dominant ever. Hardest white boy since the one who rapped about vomit and sweaters.
Striving to be the most dominant ever, the hardest white boy since the one who rapped about vomit and sweaters, and hold the comments cause I promise you I'm honestly better.
Harlow raps on his first verse, referencing an iconic line, "There's vomit on his sweater already, Mom Spaghetti," from Eminem's 2002 hit single, Lose Yourself.
Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, there's vomit on his sweater already, Mom Spaghetti.
And hold the comments cause I promise you I'm honestly better than whoever came to your head right then. They ain't cut from the same thread like him. They don't study doing work to get ahead like him. They don't toss and turn in the bed like him. Jack spits in the next few lines. Harlow has never shied away from citing Eminem as one of his biggest influences, as the Louisville rapper opened up about idolizing the Detroit MC in a November 2020 episode of GQ's Actually Me video series. I grew up listening to Eminem, Harlow shared. I idolized Eminem, big influence of mine while growing up. I mean, he's so dope, but also obviously, I remember when I was 10 or 11, I would wear like a toboggan and hoodie and headphones around my neck because I wanted to feel like him. A year later, during an interview with Billboard at the 2021 MTV Video Music Awards, Harlow shed light on a phone call he had with Eminem following their collaboration, Killer. "We didn't get to meet, but we had a phone call that meant the world to me," Harlow said. "I haven't shared it with the world yet, but I can't wait until the world hears it. He gave me a lot of props that any artist would love to get. Sometimes the best gem is just somebody you admire, letting you know who you think you are. He let me know, you're that, you're dope. I've waited a decade to hear that. So it was special." So yeah, there's a lot to process there. If it wasn't for the quotes he made about Eminem and how he had been praised by him and that he looked up to Eminem, it would have been easy to say that he was tugging on Superman's cape and that he should know better. But in this case, he's clearly referencing the man who is his musical idol, and that's to be respected, to an extent. For example, him praising Eminem in his track, that's totally fair, and something he should feel like doing more often. But saying he's the hardest white rapper since Eminem, that can be a bit of a stretch, as numerous people would tell you, and one such person was Machine Gun Kelly. MGK's response. On Saturday, the Ohio native unleashed a new freestyle over the instrumental to Jay-Z and Eminem's Renegade that had him dip into his rap bag with razor-sharp bars. But there's a line in question that's caught the attention of listeners. At the 122 mark of the freestyle, Machine Gun Kelly made a reference to Jackman, which happens to be the title of Jack Harlow's latest album, released last month. MGK wasted no time flipping the name and using it to allegedly diss his peer. "I see why they call you Jackman. You Jackman's whole swag. Give Drake his flow back, man," MGK rapped.
"I see why they call you Jackman. You Jackman's whole swag. Give Drake his flow back, man. I eat rappers like Pac-Man. Must I regurgitate and show you who's in my stomach from the last dance? I battle rap, no Instagrams or yelling at the cam. Damn, y'all may be the villain when all along I've been Batman."
With his latest freestyle, Machine Gun Kelly has been exploring a return to the rap scene. The 33-year-old released his 5th studio album, Tickets to My Downfall, in 2020, which was a complete departure from his hip-hop roots and focused solely on the pop-punk wave. Believe. His first re-entry back into the rap space happened when he released a freestyle last week with Corday over the instrumental to Central C's viral hit, Doja. How can I be a homo sapien? I'm high as the alien. I'm burning pounds not inside of a gymnasium. This off the cranium. This a nuclear weapon, my bars are uranium. MGK rapped. If that weren't enough, MGK announced last month in an interview with Odyssey Check-Ins Kevon Kenny that his next album will focus more on rap. According to Kelly, he wants to move away from the pop punk sound so people can miss it. I'm gonna make a rap album for myself, MGK said, for no other reason. No point to prove, no chip on my shoulder. If I keep doing things to prove things to people, I'm gonna 1. Drive myself crazy, and 2. Not make a good product. We'll leave that alone for now and focus on the diss that he dropped on Jack Harlow. The reason that this is so poignant is that Harlow compared himself to Eminem, and Machine Gun Kelly has had long history with Eminem for better and for worse. Not the least was their infamous feud that had Eminem dissing MGK over a line about his daughter years previous, and then MGK trying to take on the rap god and failing in many ways. So the fact that he's going after Jack Harlow like this is curious, because he likely thinks that Harlow is easier prey than going after Eminem. So if nothing else, Machine Gun Kelly may have learned his lesson about who to go after with his disses. How social media reacted to Harlow's lines. When you put out statements like the one Jack Harlow did, especially in a musical track, people are going to hear it, and then people are going to spread it around, and then they're going to talk about it as we've already shown you. While the first 2 things are good, the third can be problematic depending on what you said. When word of this spread on places like Twitter, the comment section of posts with the quote, "ate Jack Harlow up alive." Not the least of which is that there are more experienced white rappers who've had a harder life in the music industry than Harlow has. Many people cited Logic as one example, who happens to be a good friend to Eminem. Another cited the late Mac Miller, who like Eminem, struggled with his personal life while he was excelling in the music space. Now yes, there were some who agreed with him, but if you want to look at this from the whole perspective, you have to admit that Jack Harlow definitely reached there. As we noted earlier, he's only released 2 albums and a few tracks outside them, and he's hardly done what Eminem and other white rappers have done in their careers. Now if he said he wanted to be the next Eminem and prove he's the hardest since him, that's one thing, but saying you're that right now, that's different. Granted, at least he's trying to compliment Eminem while praising himself, versus others who've said some rather unique things about Eminem in the past. Because make no mistake, there have been many people who've said they're better than Eminem. Just some of the most recent ones outside of MGK include Melly Mel, Snoop Dogg, who had a whole list of people he'd take over Eminem,
Eminem, the great white hope. White rappers had 0 respect in rap. Let's keep that 1,000. When you talking about this hip hop shit that I can't live without, I can live without that.
and The Game, who almost challenged Slim Shady to a rap-off. Eminem, meanwhile, has been chillin' and doing his own thing, which might just prove that he's wiser than all of them. Eminem's legacy. No matter where you fall on the Eminem debate, one of the greatest ever or someone who was pushed to success, you can't deny the impact that Slim Shady has had on the rap game. Even now, well into the twilight years of his career, people are still talking about him. And then you have people like Jack Harlow, who are trying to be the next version of him. His time in the industry, which lasts over 20 years when you talk his professional stuff, has been significant. So bringing it back to Harlow, is he the hardest since Eminem? No. Eminem was the hardest not just because of his music, but because of his life. The things he did and didn't do to push himself to the next level and get over his issues and struggles. Eminem has beaten the odds time and time again, and that helped him get to the top and stay there for some time. Even legends like Drake haven't accomplished everything that Eminem has, and it'd take a truly transcendent act to push rap to the levels that Eminem did in the 2000s. Heck, Bad Bunny's one of the biggest names in the hip-hop rap game, and he's not done everything Eminem has. Then again, Bad Bunny did do an epic match in WWE recently, so that is something that Eminem hasn't done, but that's another topic entirely. Going back to Jack Harlow and Machine Gun Kelly, both of them clearly feel that they're filling a void of sorts that Eminem is leaving behind as he starts to fade from the industry more and more. But do either of them have a legit shot of doing anything? Harlow versus Kelly. It's hard to judge the success of someone when they're not fully done with their career. Just like in other genres of music, there have been plenty of stars who were destined for greatness after a hit track or album, and yet they've burned out in one form or another. And as Machine Gun Kelly can tell you personally, sometimes trying to poke the bear can lead to you being outcast because you couldn't measure up. In terms of who's closer to being Eminem between these two, the answer is likely neither of them. Harlow may have the potential and the desire to be the next Eminem, but he's still got a ways to go to have the impact that Eminem had. Plus, as noted, there's more to being the hardest white rapper out there than saying that you're that. As for Machine Gun Kelly, he's tried many times to prove he's one of the best around, and he hasn't done that. He lost his feud with Eminem, not that he'll admit it, and then took a long break away from it, and is only now coming back. So if these two want to go to war, by all means, the rap game will probably eat it up. But they better realize that they'll need more than words to get to Eminem's crown. And there you go, everyone, a look at the beef that might be brewing between Jack Harlow and Machine Gun Kelly. Do you think that MGK was right to go after Harlow like that? Or is Machine Gun Kelly just someone trying to seize an opportunity to make his name in the rap game again? Do you think Eminem will respond to this? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.